Who believes in now? Is it the Arizona Cardinals or is it the Pittsburgh Steelers? Who believes in now? Because that is what it is all about. Right off the bat, congratulations Pittsburgh Steelers on defeating the Baltimore Ravens. It looked like a trap game. It looked like Vegas was trying to trap people into betting Baltimore, and they took the bait, and Vegas won. However, if you went against the bait, you also would have won with the books. Okay, congratulations, of course, Pittsburgh, but also congratulations to Ken Wisenhunt and the Arizona Cardinals. For years, you were the basement of the league. I used to always remember your games were never on TV because, quite frankly, you were terrible. You were never on Monday Night Football. You always lost 34-10. That was the Arizona Cardinal way. Jake the Mistake Plumber was your major quarterback that you had. And then you wanted Josh McCown after that. However, you drafted guys like Anquan Boldin. You drafted guys like Larry Fitzgerald. You picked up guys like Edgerrin James. You drafted and added free agents to help that terrible offensive line that you had before. And now you're in the Super Bowl. And congratulations for getting this far. Now let's compare both teams. Offensively, you have to give the advantage, I think, to the Arizona Cardinals. They are weak at tight end, but they are so strong at wide receiver. They have a really good quarterback, amazing quarterback in Kurt Warner. And Kurt Warner, he is a big game player in my opinion. I really truly believe that he knows what it takes to get the job done. He's not gonna feel the pressure. I don't think Ben will feel as much pressure either. But I think Kurt Warner will be extremely ready for this game. All he knows is just throw the ball really high for Fitzgerald. There's no way you can cover him. He's possibly one of the best receivers ever to play the game. Definitely, I think, one of the best players in the league this year. I think the most talented. So they got that extra advantage there. Boldin, who would be a number one receiver on most teams, gets less coverage. And that really does help the Arizona Cardinals in on that fashion there. Special teams, of course, well, they're pretty much, I think, around even. However, the defense is dominated by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cardinals have played really good defensively throughout the entire playoffs so far. And it is believing in now. It's not about then. It's all about believing in now. One game, 60 minutes, 4 quarters. That is where they are at now. And I believe Arizona does believe in now and will at least play a good game. However, like I say, it is defense that does win championship games. Pittsburgh does have it, and it does usually see that defense dominates on the Super Bowl. Okay. So now, who am I going to pick to win the Super Bowl against the number, which is a 7-point spread? And normally what I do is I go with the system, and what the system is to take the better coach against the spread. It has usually done really amazing for me. You go back to, say, when Green Bay and New England was in the Super Bowl, you got Pete Carroll versus Mike Holmgren. I wonder who's going to cover that spread now, as Carroll was pretty much a jobber, if you will. No offense, but compared to like Holmgren and the other top coaches, he was not the same caliber. Obviously, advantage Green Bay. Green Bay covers the spread. Actually, that didn't matter anyway because that was a 14-point spread and the game ended in 14. After that, it was Denver, Green Bay, Mike Shanahan versus Holmgren, and I had to truly believe Mike Shanahan was the better coach. And even if it was close, Denver did have a better team, I think, on paper that year. Even though Vegas gave no respect, I thought that 11.5 was the best play I'd ever seen. Maybe that was a little bit of bias being a Broncos fan, but I look to be right given the fact that Denver won that game big. Next year, Denver was pretty big favorites against Atlanta. Mike Shanahan versus Dan Reeves. And Dan Reeves, obviously that jobber coach, if you will, knows how to get to the big game, just doesn't know how to win the big game. And he continued to prove that correct. Once again, Mike Shanahan, of course, the better coach. Tennessee, St. Louis, the next matchup, that's irrelevant on this, who the better coach is, because whether it was Vermeil or Fisher, it didn't matter. The spread was 7. For the St. Louis Rams, they won by exactly 7, so because of that, it was a push. Baltimore Giants, that was Billick versus Jim Fassel. Yeah, Billick, obviously being a top-rated coach, obviously dominated that game. Now the New England era comes into play. Belichick versus Martz. Martz being a great offensive coach, but even at that time, people were saying he was definitely not a Dick Vermeil type coach. They were right, and of course New England wins. Next one was a no-brainer. Oakland, Tampa Bay. Callahan versus Gruden. Once I seen that, I literally was on Tampa the whole way. They won big. Next year was Belichick versus Fox. Same thing there. John Fox of Carolina, very rookie-ish. Good coach, but definitely not a Belichick caliber. New England wins. Andy Reid versus Bill Belichick. Obviously not as easy as before, as Andy Reid's a very good coach. Very tough comparison, but obviously you have to go with Belichick. And the fact that he's really one of the best, especially at that time, the best coach in the league. You have to pick him over anybody then. And after that, Pittsburgh and Seattle, Mike Holmgren versus Bill Cowher. Holmgren is a good coach, but Cowher was amongst the top coach in the league. I think he coached Mike Holmgren there, and he did prevail. Next one was Indianapolis versus Chicago. And of course, Indianapolis with Tony Dungy against Chicago and Lovie Smith. Very close. I thought Dungy was the advantage to begin with, and you can almost count Peyton Manning as a coach the way he thinks, given the fact that he's like an offensive coordinator anyway. And that given the case, Indianapolis covered the spread. Then last year, Tom Coughlin and Bill Belichick. Belichick was a better coach. So there, the system lost. Right off the bat last week, I thought, you know what, let's play the Patriots. I laid the 14 points right off the bat, put my wager on the computer, and for 2 weeks I said to myself, why did I do this? Why did I do this? I know it's going to be the Giants and the under. Why did I do this? Yet, the worst coach won. And I truly believe that Tom Coughlin is a very average coach in NFL standards. But so now we got this matchup for the better coach. We got Mike Tomlin versus Ken Whisenhunt. Who is the better coach? I would have to say it would be Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is the better coach. Nothing against Ken Whisenhunt. I think this is another type of like Tony Dungy versus Lovie Smith type deal. One a little bit better than the other. But it's nothing like the Belichick versus Fox or Dan Reeves versus Shanahan or the worst of all. And of course it was the biggest score, Gruden versus Callahan. It's not a coaching mismatch. But the better coach is Tomlin. So my prediction, I'm going to go against the grains. I'm going to go against the systems because it's all about believing in now. I think that goes to the Cardinals. These systems which used to win that I talked about in my previous videos do not win anymore. So because of the fact that defense wins championships and because Mike Tomlin's a better coach, I'm going with Arizona plus the 7. And I even still think they will win the game. That's my prediction. We'll see how things go, but I'm going to enjoy the Super Bowl anyway. I hope for the people who do watch the game on the internet that they don't, that these people don't shut the game off of places like Justin TV, because we should be getting free games on the internet, and I think it's extremely sad how on Justin TV you're shutting games down. Now, I'm not going to be watching it on there, but I still think that it is frustrating how you don't let the people enjoy this game by just being mean pricks and saying, no, we're going to shut it down. But if that's your choice and wanting to do that, that's what these people like to do nonetheless. As far as Super Bowl props, I'm not really going to go into too details with it. I was going to put up a whole bunch of them. Maybe I still might, but I doubt it. However, I'll give you one that I love and one that I totally can't stand. The one that I totally can't stand is Kurt Warner at 2-1 to be Super Bowl MVP. You could win bet $1 to win $2 profit on Kurt Warner being Super Bowl MVP. Problem there is you get 2.25 to 1 just for Arizona winning, and I think that in order for Warner to be Super Bowl MVP, Arizona has to win anyway. So why you're getting 2 to 1 compared to 2.25 is just terrible odds. This is of course from TheGreek or OlympicSports.com. The one that I like Larry Fitzgerald at 5 to 1 to win Super Bowl MVP. I do like that play. I think that Fitzgerald is the favorite on Arizona to win Super Bowl MVP if, of course, they win. He is definitely good for about 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's one of the better players. He's been on fire in the playoffs so far. And Larry Fitzgerald, he's a big game player. I can still remember the catches that he made in the final college bowl game he played in the University of Pittsburgh. Seeing that at that point, I'm thinking he's for real. I remember saying to myself when I watched that game, when Larry Fitzgerald does play a big game, I think he's going to be ready for the first time. Here we are at a big game. He got 3 touchdowns in the first half of the conference championship game. I wouldn't surprise me if he has a big game here and gets Super Bowl MVP. I think if it's close between Warner and Fitzgerald because of how well Fitzgerald has played in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, and because Warner's already won Super Bowl MVP, that they will give it to Larry Fitzgerald. So Arizona plus the 7 and Larry Fitzgerald at 5 to 1 to win Super Bowl MVP. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a magnificent, magnificent Super Bowl weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.